Prem Subalo Mahapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Sitaram and Namaskar, everybody. Namaste. Welcome to our third session of this 3 nights of Ramayan Katha. We here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram have been engaged in doing virtual yagya with your Vyas, Pandit Keshava, reading Ramayan Katha as we prepare for the global Diwali that is coming on the 22nd of January of this year. In Ayodhya, they are going to inaugurate the Sri Ram Mandir that was rebuilt after the Babri mosque was torn down, so that where Sri Ram is born, this massive complex, this beautiful place, and I'm sure many people are sharing it, but you have to understand the history. In 1538, the Mughal dynasty, led by Babri, at that time had invaded India, and part of the dynamic of the invasion was to root out the history of the Hindu. And for that reason, not only at this point, but there are other places, they erected in its place what was once the Hindu mandir, they erected masjids. And on both sides, they're guilty on both sides as time had elapsed. Fighting did occur, conflict remained. And only in our recent history it was settled in court that this property would be returned to the Hindu because of the holiness and the history of the spot to their religion. And the mosque was relocated. It is, under construction. But on the 22nd, we are ready to open this massive, massive complex. And I'm sure you're seeing videos and so on. And on this day in our lifetime, we have the opportunity to witness, because it will be streamed throughout the world. I heard today it is going to be streamed live in Times Square in New York. That this is such a big moment, that this is the last time you'll see the yantra or the metal plate that is going to go underneath the murti of Prabhu, Sri Ram. When that murti is standing there, they will never move it, they will never uninstall it, none of these things. So you and I have the opportunity to be sitting, to be viewing, whether in India or in your country, in Trinidad or wherever you are watching me from. And in your life, you have the burden to see this moment, not there to there, not being installed, not being inaugurated, to being open for people to visit and view. And for this reason, it is being celebrated as Sri Ram is returning home. Literally, his murti is going to be established in that spot since 1500 and something. Since that time, there was no Ram Murti, Ram Puja, Ramayan singing. When you go to different parts of India, for example, you go to the house of Tulsidas in Kashi, till today, the etching on the walls, the way they built it, you will see every verse, every chaupai, doha of the Ramayan is etched there. And the couple of times I've been, I remember I went, the first time I went with Pandit Rajan, who was teaching me Hindi at the time, Sitaram Guruji. I started to cry from by the door because I didn't know what to expect. But to hear the singing, devotees, volunteers would come and sit with not the fancy harmonium that we know today, something that is battered by time, use, worn down knobs, and I was paying attention. Devotees were walking around as white marble clad the walls, and etched in this marble, I'm sure some of you would have seen it, and from the wall, looking at the wall, today I'm reading from books, some people read from tablets and their laptop and all that. You're reading from something. These volunteers come as part of their Seva, and they read the walls, and they're singing the chaupai, and their devotion is to chant it, just as I guess people globally do Sundarkan Brat, and they chant like how in Trinidad we do Hanuman Chalisa, for a certain number of times, or in your personal prayer 11 times, 7 times, what you could do. In those places, they would sit, and today, you know what, I'm reading this wall, tomorrow I'm reading this wall. And for that has always been going on. And because of that chanting now, the vibration of this place from personal experience is phenomenal. When Mommy, Baba and I, in this last time we had gone, when you go to where Krishna Janam in the jail cell, it is amazing to see how one wall on this side is the jail cell we've read and heard about, but on this side the masjid that is still there from, as I said, invasion times. Over time, things were done, and it showed me that we have to be aware of our history, but you have to embrace what is yours in order for it to survive. In order for the Tulsidas Tirat to be there, it had to be utilized. The knowledge, the name Tulsidas, this creation, had to be of value to people. So when we started to do the Yagya, I said that I wanted to explain in a way what the book had and not what my thoughts were. The opinion of Pandit Keshava really, to be fair, really doesn't matter. I explained, and I'll say it again, that the devotee is born with a certain amount of karma. And just as if you are sitting in the Yagya Shala and the Baba is given the discourse, the pravachan, he is supposed to read from the book, because it says, Garupuran one place, Bhagavad other places, the words of God, the glory of God is what brings the purification that we all want and need. Why did you come to the Yag? Why are you watching tonight? I'm watching because I want blessings. I'm watching because I find interest and enjoyment in this. But at a minimum, I'm going to get blessing by practicing Shravanam, Darshanam, by listening to prayer, good and godly things, His glory, His words, by looking at it as it is happening, unfolding, Yagya, the discourse, the text, the puja is happening. By looking at these things, good and godly things, I get blessing. I'm practicing devotion. When you go to in how you call it, Kashi, Varanasi, Kashi. When you go Kashi in the Jyotirlingam, when you go there and you make the walk and so much things are happening, beautiful, beautiful arrangement, beautiful place. But there also, from times past, there's a masjid in that compound. Armed soldiers are watching you. Different state owns those soldiers. Different religion. So I'm saying this not to incite any problem, but to give you the truth. And if we don't hold on to what we have, if you don't value what you have, then believe it. It has happened in the past, and it can happen again, that others will say, mine is more important than yours. You don't value yours, leave that. Leave that. Leave the physical place, leave the unseen God, change you as a person. But when you have the pride within yourself, I know who I am and I believe in what I believe in, that dharma, that principle that exists within you, then your Sri Ram is really, then the Pran Pratishta, then the establishment, the inauguration has happened. But it has to happen inside of the individual. I could preach Paul, I could do everything. I invite you for prayers, tell you come and help me make prasad. I could read all the Yag. But you have to welcome Sri Ram home, because we are always under attack. As individuals, as a group, as a family, evil, punishment, sin, hardships are always around us, waiting. So the bandit didn't hit you today, no, it's coming tomorrow. The sickness didn't hit you today, oh, you get away. Jai Vishnu, it's coming tomorrow. Hardships, arguments, separation, difficulty, it's coming. It's a matter of time. Many writers talk about this is hell. This earth, Mrityulok, the lok of death, Mrityu, the lok, the realm, however you want to call it. That is how it isn't labeled as bliss. It isn't labeled as the best place. It is labeled as mrityu, where the one thing I was listening to, we're going through a period of mourning in Trinidad. The flag is supposed to be at half mast. The past Prime Minister, the Honorable Mr. Basil, deceased Mr. Basil Pandey, a great person. I heard him on Sankhya this morning. They played a special where he gave a speech, and I was really impressed. I always love to hear him speak. And the content of his speech was so great. It was really, I had to stop and listen to it. And when a person appreciates what you have, you could mix with other people, you could mix, but you know what? When you have the Dharma and the God inside of you installed, when He's here, no matter what attack comes, then you are safeguarded. Whether people have what infringement on your rights, whether what is happening in your finance, in your family, in the health, does Sri Ram live in your mandir? Mr. Pandey was saying the only thing you're sure about in his talk this morning was that I was born and I'm going to die. But between the 2 points, I'm not sure what is going to happen. And we all could understand that. We have to embrace the idea that we are on limited time. And we are all looking for mechanisms to survive. So I saw Mommy Baba buy this little gadget. She loves her gadget. If anybody knows your godmother, she loves these little, whether it's for the kitchen or for the house or whatsoever. So she wanted to monitor my blood pressure. Forget the name of the thing. You put your finger on it and it goes close to the phone. Children, do you know what I'm talking about? And it's just a little pad thing. If I remember it, I'll tell you. And it's watching your BP and your blood and all these different things. Sachin wanted me to get a fit watch to tell me how my heart going and how much steps I'm making, because he always encouraging me to do more walking. So many different apps and different types of technology. God bless you. But then you have a conversation with somebody whilst you're doing all of that, and that is very good and it is useful, and I can testify to that. Whilst that is being done, what is being done for the person's character, the person's, the mental state, because mental illness is real. I could wear what gadget? If I'm depressed, I'm depressed. There are things we could try and use. There are medications, there's therapy, hormonal therapy, different type of therapy. People tried in long time, shock therapy. And as we are evolving, we are getting more humane and more accurate and more defined, but still we are searching for means and methods in different circles and different realms to survive. The age of darkness, Kali Yuga, in a place known only as the place, let's just use the place for Lok, I could say realm or sphere, but let me just say the place of death. That's the only thing we're here for. So when you're surrounded by loss, death, falling out, court matter, two brothers fighting for 5-inch land, how many times you're hearing people talk about conflict over this and that, petty sometimes necessary. I'm an advocate. If there's a problem, rather than we mince words, take it to court and let it be adjudicated and rested. That is in our text. That is why we had the king, as we will hear tonight. But in Gurpran, for example, in the last part of Prit Manjali, that's where Lord Vishnu tells Garud, at all points in a person's life, the life of the individual, the life of this body should be secured. So one of that gives a precedent now. There are different religions in this world, and some follow the thinking of get rid of technology. Technology wasn't there before, and we should not use that today. Then, meaning it is equivalent to sin. It leads to perversion. Then there is religion that speeches about if you weren't born with it, you should not have it. So stent, organ transplant, blood transfusion, resuscitation, these mechanisms should not be performed or it should not be used. So if something is happening, let the natural course of things happen. So it was a question raised by a devotee, and I hope she's watching. The Hindu does not oppose surgery. The Hindu does not oppose transplant, bypass, C-section, these things, as it is a science that was in our sastras. Munis long before did write about plastic surgery for nose and rhinoplasty and other, modifications to bring some alleviation to breathing, like when people's nostrils are very small inside and they have a problem breathing. There are things in those days, I can't say, but let's say previous age, previous yug, to give you a specific time. But the concepts were there. The science of zero comes from our Dharma, outside the realm of religion, but science coming from the Devi, the study of the Brahman, the study of how the atomic energy, the cohesion, covalent and ionic bonds, and all these things are in our sastras. And these studies were also means by which we survive. So the entire Ayurvedic science of using, for example, your hardi or turmeric to make tea and maintain the body's balance, and using different herbs to bring healing and all that, that was developed as tools. Today we use different drugs, but it is a spin-off in some cases, like moringa or saijan as we would call it in the West Indies. Those things are being rediscovered because we use it for this benefit. So make your potions. Even in the wedding, they have the mortar and the pestle. They have the okri. And it is because those things were minced and milled to become part of the ceremony. At the end of the day, the study of plants, being the Devi is inside the plant. That's why she has this herbal healing potency. It is a way to connect the invisible Devi with the physical ailment that you and I have. Devi empowers the plant, and me and you picks the flower or the fruit or the whatever, and we make tea, we cook it, we eat it, and we get the help and health that we need. So if the person has to go for resuscitation, if the person has to go for hormonal treatment, if the person has to do some medical treatment, it isn't against Hinduism when you are trying to prolong or preserve life. Of course, in everything there's limits, but in the side of medical treatment, Hindus don't have a problem with that. So we are always in our prayers, in our science, in our drive, because when a person, there's no conflict with science and religion and Hindu faith. Everything comes from God. So there's nobody one side making science, and then on this side, Ganesh Baba is only talking religion and story and katha. The science comes from Devi. She is the one dishing out why, as I said in a previous yagya, why the what we will call the divine symmetry with Vishwakarma. How does God know to put all the flowers, petals in a particular alignment? How come everything could be divided? How does God know how to make our teeth or the hair? Look at your hands and find the hair, and you'll see 2 or 3 strands growing out of a paw. I never paid attention to that, Baba. How does God know to do these things? And this is the science of creation, and it's dealt quite extensively in our text. So when now you look at prayer as a maintenance method, then you come across where he says, use the name of Vishnu, use the name of Ram. Sunday morning we had service last week, and we did the katha. I was reading Ramayana, I've been reading Ramayana, Ratnakar. Ratnakar is the initial name for Valmiki. We did Valmiki Ramayan. So I was telling them about how he is so sinful. He goes to his mother and father and he begs, I've been stealing, I've been killing, robbing for your benefit. I've robbed people, I took the money and I bought food to feed you. You have to share in the sin. And father and mother says, no, no, no. I'm not doing that. And I'm summarizing. And he goes to Guruji and all his Swami them listen to his entire confession about all that he had done, raped, pillaged, killed, you name it. And they said that your name is so, your history is so polluted. Go and have a bath in the river and come back. And by the bathing, Makar Sankranti is upon us. And the first step of Makar Sankranti breath is bathing with til. So soap, rinse, and then take till, the sweat of Lord Vishnu, and you massage the skin from top down to remove, the unclean things that we have and hold in our body as we prepare for the prayer. He goes to the river, and as he's walking closer, the river dries up. So he went back to tell them, and the Guru says, "My God, your character is so bad, your history is so horrible. You don't even qualify to use the name Ram." This is long after Sri Ram walked in. You don't qualify, you're so sinful, it wouldn't work. Here's what, sit under that banyan tree. Fig tree, he said. Sit under that fig tree. You see it's dried, dying. Sit under that tree. And you're not going to say Rama from Hindi people, Rama, Ram. You are going to say Mara, Mara. Say it backward. But in saying it backward, when he says, keep saying it until that fig tree resprouts, regrows, bears fruits, but it must be a two type of fig. So let's just say big fig, small fig, from the same one tree. You, until such time, you keep saying, and that will be your, let's say, the medicine that will not only help you now in the quality of your life, fearing sin, but also the preserving the integrity of your soul by purifying sin. So powerful is the name. And he sat down, and this is the katha that says, he goes, Mara, 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 Mara. And in saying it, think what I'm saying here, Ma, M-A-R-E, M-A-R-E. So in the middle, R-E-M, Ram, Ram, Rama, Rama. He's saying it there. And in constantly saying, things happen. His body tight. I think, I could be corrected, but I think according to Krittibasi Ramayan, it says that he sat there for 60,000 years, different time. And he constantly, Mara, 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 and he's going. His body becomes very weakened and dry, shriveled. The place becomes dried with the heat of the tage of his job. And Brahma appears to him. Well, his eyes are closed, but Brahma is there. And Brahma says to Indra, let rain fall upon him. Bless this place. This place is becoming too dry. His body is going to, it's just skeleton on the skin. He can't continue like this. Bless him. Rain fell for 7 days. And when he opened his eyes, Narad Muni and Brahma are there. And they tell him, you have become purified because of the heinous crimes. The name Ram has washed your slate clean, as it were. And I'm summarizing again. From today, O Ratnakar, be called Valmiki. In a nutshell, this is the history of Valmiki. You will be tasked with the responsibility of writing the Ramayana, or the story of Ram's Katha. Ratnakar, or now Valmiki, says, Prabhu, I have a very bad history. I'm a bandit. I am not a literary scholar. I don't have the ability to write poetry. And while he's talking, his tongue, sometimes you're talking and your tongue twists, as they say. His tongue started to jump, move. He says, Brahma says, son, my spouse, the goddess Vani, Saraswati, will sit on your tongue and give you the initiative to write that which will guide and save and purify many, many people in this world, in this Mrityulok. It will serve as a tool to wash their slate clean. And she will guide you. She will sit with you and give you, as the Devi does, the ability to do what you think you cannot do. Saraswati Mata sits here and he started to give out words and verses that he himself did not know. The language is totally different. It is before his time. He doesn't know what he is saying. And he calls at a different moment. He calls Narad Muni and he says, could you tell me what it is I just said? What it is I meant? And the first verse he says, he talks about the value of the name of Ram. The value of the katha of Ram by listening to it. What it will do for people. And when he said it, the devotion, the emotion of devotion started to wake up. As Narad explained, now the Devi is sitting in his intellect, his tongue. And something is changing within him. You and I do it. We take the murti, we take the diya, and where do you bow? You bow to your forehead. You ever wonder why? Tonight, before, forgive me, but we'll get into our discourse, but why? The energy of God, the electrical energy of the murti, when they do the pratishta, I touch you, you are God. Look, the yantra. The yantra. You see how it is metal? This is an example. Well, of course, it will be huge. But this is an example of how what is going under the murti. This is how it looks. And the person will use it to get the energy, and they put it here where the frontal lobe of the brain is, and you're asking, let some of that energy sit here, and please, let me make good choices, say the right thing, see the right thing, want to hear the right thing. I have a problem, I have an exam, I need some help, I have a situation in my life, please help me. And this is how to help. Start here so I can think good. In this way, Ramayan and power of Sri Ram's name started. There are many other people that had a hand to play in it. But the mechanism of preservation of our lives is there in our dharma. One of which is the name of Ram. This is why we read Ramayana. I hope by this little history you have a grasp of the tool, of the tablet, the pill, the cough syrup called Ramayana. The name Ram is the active ingredient in this medicine. And when a person takes some of the medicine, when they need it the most, that active ingredient, with charge with the Devi, starts to bring about the healing, starts to bring about the help, starts to bring about change, if it be I am causing my own problem especially, so that you could see a change in your life, quality of life, now and long-term beatitude and happiness after. Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Tonight, everybody, if you came in late, my name is Pandit Keshava Gosine, and we have been reading Ramayan Gyan Yagya. We read Krittibasi Ramayan. The Bengal Ramayan will be in that tonight in a different section. And yesterday we did the Valmiki discourse about the death of Raja Dashrath. Tonight we go on in Krittibasi Ramayan, this 14th century, 15th century poet that did his version of Ramayan, penned after Valmiki, long before the Sri Ram Mandir was destroyed. This is that old. And contained in this text, as we heard yesterday, the father, the grandfather, the mother of Dashrath, the grandfather, Aja, who is Raghu, who is Dilip, who is his father Aj, Indumati, and we learned how he was an orphan at a year old. Vashish is his foster father. Why did he get married? How old he was when he got married? A wonderful line of information. And then we heard how he dies when he's separated from Sri Ram by the words of Kaikeyi. Tonight, let's get set. A lot of information, a lot. Tonight you're going to hear some wonderful information about after the death of Dashrath. This yagya is dedicated to Raja Dashrath, so that you as a Sanatanist, as a Hindu, can walk away knowing the character. My objective is not to give you, of course, the whole Ramayana, not in 3 nights, but to give you the appetite that I didn't know this, I want to know more. A hunger to encourage, to infect you, to have a thirst for him and invite him into your heart. That is my intention. And by doing that alone, you will start to see change. When the foot of the Lord touch your hard life, your hard back, like Ahilya, he will bring back life to that hardship. Where that hardship was, it will be replaced by his happiness, his joy. That is my prayer and my blessing to you. Let's enter tonight as we need to get on going. Thank you for viewing. If you're viewing me on Facebook, YouTube, please share your satsang. Leave me a comment. I would like to hear from where you are watching from. If you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel there. I need your support. And then if you're watching me on Sankhya television, please send them a message. And call your family and tell them to watch. Alright? So thanks to the team at Sankhya and all others that are making this possible. Let's join together as we begin our mantras tonight. Join together with me wherever you are. Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapeta Jambu Palachara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashkarakam Namami Veganeshwara Parapankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhate girim yat kripatamaham bande Paramanandam Madhavam. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki jai. We enter into Ayodhya Khanda of this Krittibasi Ramayan. We're starting at chapter 12. Where we left off last night, Vashish Muni had submerged the dead body of Raja Dashrath into, I use the word boat, but a trough. Let's say a tub, for children to understand, a tub filled with oil, so that no oxidation, no decomposition could happen. because there was no prince in the city at the time. So there is nobody to begin the rites. There is no one to do anything on behalf of him. In that submerged state, Vashish Muni sends a messenger to Kaikaya, the father of Kaikeyi, to send Bharat and Shatrughan home. But he doesn't tell them about the death of Dashrath. He says, go and tell him Gurji is looking for him. Gurji wants him to come home, knowing fully well that would be enough to get him to return. As today we enter here now, Bharat is happy to come home. But to his surprise, when he first place he goes is to the chamber, his father's apartment, and he found this apartment empty. He goes to the court is empty. Without his father being there, Bharat couldn't understand the reason for his absence. Was my father. I thought my father would have received me. At the time of death, Dashrath had gone to the abode of Kaushalya in her section of the palace, and his body remained there in the bedchamber of Kaushalya. Finding his father's abode empty, bothered by it, he went to look for his mother. Kaikeyi was sitting on the throne. No father now. But when she sees him coming, she jumps off the throne, standing, smiling, happy. At this point, Bharat, not knowing anything, he touched the foot of his mother and hugged and kissed and so on. Bharat, happy to see his mother, he says, Ma, is the king okay? Are all my relatives okay? Are all the mothers fine? Is everything all right in this place, in this country of my father? And instead of answering, Kaikeyi starts to ask about Giriraj. That's her father, the title of the place now. He's the king of that country. She says, tell me about my people. Tell me about my mother. Tell me about those people there. And he says, Ma, don't worry. Your father, your mother, your brother, all your relatives are not dead. They're alive. They're good. All is fine in your parental home. Whatever you've asked me, I've answered, but you have not answered me at all. Whatever I ask you now, reply to me at once. What adversity has befallen Ayodhya? Everybody here is dumbfounded. No one is happy. Everywhere I look, people are crying and sustain one side. People look at me and denounce me. Let me say, suck the teeth and chups, and they're not happy with him. Why? Why is my father not in his chamber? Why are people in Ayodhya lamented? Why is the people reluctant to even talk? At this point, rejoicing, Kaikeyi speaks to him, your father was the speaker of truth. He's very truthful. And was quite firm in the search or in the life of truthfulness, whilst following the path of truth. That valorous person has left for the heavenly abode. After the death of your father, the country is without a king. On hearing this, Bharat fell on the ground and he started to cry, but in a shocked way. Fainted as well. Seeing him lamenting in this way, Kaikeyi gets up and she's worried. And she says, be composed, O son. Seeing you lament in this way, I feel the agony. I feel a lot of agony inside of me. Be perfectly patient without yourself, with knowing that all the sastras have been taught to you. And you know who rules the country. You who rule this country together with me. On hearing about the death of his father, Bharat said, but where is Ram? Where is Lakshman? I didn't see them. He knows Shatrughan is with him, so where are these other two? Entrusting the kingship to Ram, when I left. That is what the king would have wanted. This had been pre-planned long before. You know this. How has it happened otherwise? Because you are talking about Bharat to rule. But I know Ram was supposed to rule. What are you talking about? I know that my father was still alive, was supposed to be alive for a further 10,000 years. Nowhere close to death. Why did he die early? And look at you, mother. You are not sad at all about his death. You are more worried by me crying and falling just now. But prior to this, you are quite happy. The way in which things have moved had delighted Kaikeyi the most. And then, at this point, she narrates the entire story with a pleasant face, pleasant demeanor, pleasant tone. She tells him that Ram, in Shlok 74, Ram had gone to the forest, accompanied by Lakshman, and Sita also went with them. Bharat says, why did Ram leave for the forest? Your words make me feel as if my life has left this body. Whose treasure or what lady or what wrong did Ram commit that he exiles himself to the forest? Kaikeyi then told everything to Bharat. She first pronounced all praise to Ram. Ram is the savior of his devotees, Bharat. Always ready to do good for them. Sita, the daughter of Janak, is quite dear to him, like his own life. He is the ocean of virtue. All are happy all were happy when Ram was becoming king. But by the grace of Ram, people enjoy many pleasures. Ram was to become king the next day. And the day before, the coronation. The day before Adhivya's ceremony, the anointing was supposed to happen. At that very moment, Ram was made to leave for the forest, pronouncing that the kingship be given to you in his exile. Dashrath ended his life with Ram's name on his lips. One cannot rid the debt to our mother. The kingship which was meant for Ram is now yours. Do you understand what she just said there? Look at how a mother looks out for her child. This is why you cannot pay the debt. What is this debt about? When mommy gives you the milk so that you could build bone and muscle, you pay back that debt because you come alone and you're going alone. Believe it or not. This is why we serve parents, to strive to repay. You pay your father the debt to your father. You have his resemblance. You have his way of talking. You ever hear somebody say, wow, you talk like your father did, boy. I hear you say something there and you remind me of your father if he be deceased. For his traits, his genes, his surname, you pay back your father. But your mother now, the physical milk is what gives you the nourishment for your body. So when now you are lifting the box, in the case of the mother, for example, and you are lifting the box, and you're straining, Ma, you give me milk to make my muscle, and I offer back these hands to you. I repay you. I repay you for the debt, D-E-B-T, not somebody died, but the debt, karma. I don't want to owe you. But one cannot rid of the debt. She's saying the opposite now. Because a mother will do so much for her child. The kingship which was meant for Ram is now yours. Because she tells him that she's the one who caused Ram to live by her request. Be a king and adorn the throne, sit on that throne, and the goddess of wealth and fortune, Lakshmi, will be embossed on your forehead. Bharat, on hearing the words of Kaikeyi, he is immensely hurt. As if somebody had hit him in a tender spot in his body, thus burning with pain, he speaks by the unglorious story of your virtues. Very sarcastically, you are so virtuous in a sarcastic way. It's not true. this unglorious with disdain, you will go to hell. In the Raghu dynasty, the crowning of the younger brother in preference to the older brother is unheard of. Your parents, Kaikeyi, or mother, your parents are deeply religious and pious people. How does a demoness be born to them? Though a demoness at your heart, you are born with human features. Maybe as a pundit, I should leave out this part. Many have done that. Because many people say, Mother Parvati in Brahm Vaivat Puran makes a statement about who is a mother. She says if they feed you, it's a mother. If she biologically brings you into this world, she's a mother. If she teaches you, such as a foster mother or a stepmother, it's a mother. So in terms of Tarpan and Shraddh, you have the responsibility, the debt to this mother. And there are many other examples. And sometimes people wonder, will I get sin if, because sometimes there are people that are biological, and I guess it is indicative of Kali Yuga. If you have a good relation or a good example of a mother, this does not apply to you. But there are people that have horrible experience in this point of a mother. And I'm simply acknowledging that this happens. In this age of Kali Yuga, we've had in times, recent times, 80s, 90s, children making children. And the structure of families crumbled as it is crumbling now. That reminds me of something I want to mention to you. The structure of the family is crumbling. So what happened was, children were making children. Do you remember that statement? Children making children. And not only the health, not only the secular knowledge or the spiritual knowledge started to crumble with it. Because the person is not prepared to make cognitive decisions, health-wise, vaccination-wise, doctor visits, vitamins, they can't do it. So sometimes there is negligence. Thank God for people that work in the social services or the social network to hold and secure young people from harm, from trafficking, from negligence, from malnutrition, you name it, it does exist. It does exist. And whilst mothers and fathers have their rights enshrined, it is possible to lose those rights when you do not act in the best interest of the child, when you do not act in a safe manner or in a responsible manner. Because it happens, but you, by definition, you are mother and father. So it does happen that people act untowards, and that is part of Kali Yuga. Because, as it says in different texts, we earn, we inherit the womb we come from a karma perspective. That yes, a person works hard. Ramayan says it, that you achieve the human birth after many births and many different good karma piling up, and then you're born into a human form, human genetics, giving you, God willing, things like the cognitive sense, the ability to make rational decisions, understand and perceive God, be in charge of your digestion. You have the system to be an omnivore, but I choose to be a vegetarian, vegan, whatever it be. You have this ability to make these decisions, whereas a dog, a parrot, may have a different driving force. The nature, the pheromone may be a different driving force to reproduce, to eat, to live, to migrate, etc. But then in the human existence, we have poverty, we have hunger, we have, as we are seeing now, war. We have children are born with birth defect in a way that did not exist before. Let's use the harsh reality of autistic children, wherever they fall on the spectrum, ADHD and ADD and the different things that parents are facing now. In the early part of the 1900s, maybe because of the diet as well, and our text does deal with that, you did not have the occurrence of cancer. You did not have carcinogenic food. You did not have the type of skin cancer that exists, the type of polyps that are growing in people's intestine causing problems, ovarian problems, infertility, etc., etc. So those things, as mankind is undergoing changes, and in some extent, new problems are evolving and popping up, such as, let's say, recent times, COVID. People of the past did not face those problems. So it was written that there are certain things you enshrine in good behavior, respect, etc. My mother is my first God. But on the other side of that coin is a mother has to act like a mother. I'm nowhere beating discipline. There's a limit to discipline as well. We are not talking abuse. But enshrined in being a mother, the deuta that I'm saying she is, then you have to have that activated deuta inside of you. Because in conversation with people who've had parents who abandon them, parents who mistreat them, girl children, and all respect to everybody, this is just reality. Women who thought their girl children were playing too saintly and sold them to men, or rented, to use words, rented them to men for sexual favors and so on. Those things are real. And it is not strangers who do it. There was a time it had an American, social safety program called Stranger Danger. But what about when the danger is coming from not a stranger, but from in your own? In many homes where there is some inappropriate behavior happening, you have instances, not in all, but in some instances, where the mother is fully aware, but she's afraid to speak up, or she's afraid to act, for different reasons, and the abuse happens. In many examples like that and others, if in this case the person is not fit, that is also dealt in our text. So if you remove yourself, is it considered abandon? No. It have many examples where the person considers the person dead, and they offer tarpan. You'll hear this in Bhagavad, in many examples. Let me just say, I write you off, and I want to end the debt. I don't want to owe you. You did bring me into this world. So the person would do a shraddh, and they offer tarpan, and I paid off the debt, so I don't have to incur any, sin by not being there or being around you, a bad environment, a toxic environment, especially when we're talking about abuse, neglect, physical harm. To that extent we are talking about. I'm not talking about I get vexed because your mother quarreled with you or curse you, to be clear. Then in those harsh examples, it is in our dharma that you don't respect somebody who is endangering children. In fact, move the children, move them out, take them to a place of safety, because they have God too. And that also has to be treasured. Everything is judged by the court, and based on feedback from observers, from psychologists, from psychiatrists, from social workers. It's complex. I am breaking it down, but just to answer a question, it isn't that, okay, no matter what you do, a person who is mistreating and abusing and neglecting is respected as equally as the womb that makes the child and does all its diligence, all its work, all the homework, all the different steps. No, they can't be on equal footing. They're not. In this way, Bharat is standing up for truth and for Dharma. O demoness, you have entered the dynasty of the Raghukul just to destroy it. In the absence of Ram, grief had stricken this king, our king, and that was the cause of his death. You are the cause of all of this. You already had so much riches, so much comfort by killing your husband. You have maligned 3 generations of your family. So much stress, you didn't take a dagger to his heart, but stress and pain. What sin, listen to what he says here. What sin did I commit in my earlier birth which made me born to you? And this is repeating what we just spoke about. depending on your karma. Sometimes people like to say, my mother this and my father that, and what make you born there is not their karma alone. Maybe you were the good child, but what made you born there is your bad karma. So when Gita says the person, as brutal as the songs, because by no means I am trying to make light of anybody's family experience, but we are talking, why does bad things happen to good people? Why did I have to have a bad parental-child relationship? On the other side, why did I as a parent have to have a short relationship with a child in the case the child dies, or the child is born with a birth defect, or the child is perfect, but the child after married, Baba, gone. Karma. Karma is the cause. And karma is also the cause of the breakdown in family life. But we have to fight it. That's why we listen to our Ramayana. In Trinidad, where we have carnival, it had families that would drop the children in the hospital, and they're sick, and let the nurse and the matron and everybody take care of them. And after the carnival, go and pick up your children. They would do it for. I don't know if anybody did it. If you're a man, leave a comment. Baba, I did that already. They did it with children. They did it with the infirm, with the elders, and so on. I mean, we are bombarded in this age by so much trouble, but if we are not careful, it'll get worse. It'll get worse. Imagine our music has evolved or de-evolved to a point, you hear people sing. Yesterday I saw a video on TikTok where Anna Nyankaran, this Trinidad-born singer, was singing about the loss of Mastana Bahar. In 1986, he did that on that show, Indian Variety. I saw that video, and that was really nice. Nice song. And then somebody sent me a video where I don't know who sang it. I don't know if I'm saying the wrong words, forgive me. You have to make a boy child for me before I married you. That is the gist. It could be the wrong words, forgive me if I said it wrong, but more or less the gist of the song. You have to make a boy child for me first. So throw away everything in our dharma. Just make sure. Although the chromosome is coming from the man to make the boy child is a different story. But a different story. Leave that alone. But when the music that is pumping into children, young mothers and young fathers, and this is the entertainment. What is going to be harboring in the belly for the pregnant girl if this is all the radio station is playing, this quality of music? And I don't understand how, because in this country we have different genre of music, soca and Indian and filmy and the traditional chutney, but I don't understand why it is our Indian music, East Indian music, chutney music, this fusion of English and Hindi has de-evolved. Everybody cheating in marriage, everybody had to drink rum, everybody dying from horn and some tabanka, everybody now had to make child before I could marry you. And we find this entertaining. Ramayana, not for we just now, The strength of our dharma is family life. And parents are allowing business people a paying sponsorship to radio stations to pick garbage like this. In my little opinion, please don't support this kind of stupidness. If somebody got up in the morning and sang about, the love between husband and wife, or a man and a woman, or the fields and what there's so much in God's creation that you could sing about. This shouldn't be the thing to push, because people drink rum throughout the world. There will be fear. But these types of hardships and song, every day somebody singing about either Hernandez or Fernandez. It's either rum or some woman. One out of the two. You tell me if I lie. But other parts of the world, people sing about the family and they could sing about love and so on. Where did that go? Where did that go? The evolution of unrighteousness has to do with the influence, the fall apart of the family. And you see it in cultures. Single parent home is not something that brings betterment. The two parents need to work together so that children could remain guided and corralled. Else it will be a free fall. We don't want that. If it happens, it happens. But we don't want it to be propagated. Instead, sit with family, and there would be harsh days. It will be hard days. Don't be a stranger to your counselor or you have different facilities. And you work at it so that for the sake of the family and the children, you help. In this case, in my father's house, demoness, you had all facility. You had everything. Why did you harm this man, this goodly man? I have never seen a demoness like you. But no, there will be no harm to you, lady. There will be no damage to you. He refers to Parashuram when Parashuram harms his mother, and Parashuram had to pay that incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He had received Shraddh. For the sake of Sri Ram, if I call, I am called the killer of a mother. I would not go to hell, but I am not going to do it. Sri Ram may not be happy with me. And thus, Bharat, burning with this anger, leaves that place. And he went outside. He couldn't see her anymore. Leaving the place, Kaikeyi felt as if now it's starting to dawn on her. I have done the sinful act for nothing. The influence of this ill advice did not give me the outcome. Bharat is not happy with me. Shatrughan is there, and he reaches to where Bharat is. And he's calling him brother, brother, brother. And with that moment, as they hold on, Bharat rests Shatrughan's head in his lap as they were crying and squealing because Shatrughan had heard as well. And as that, now this is something unique to the Krittibasi Ramayan, this part coming here. And this is why I'm reading it for you. As they were talking, fate played a game, and Mantara, or they would call her Kunji, home name Kunji, she happened to walk close where they were sitting with wounded hearts. And Bharat is saying to Shatrughan, the Raja, Dashrath, our father awarded that kingship to Ram. Why did Kunji become envious of it? If we find that Mantara, she will not be left alive. And as I said just now, she happened to come close, clad in beautiful clothes. Sometimes in our TV shows, she looks like a pauper. But the person who is the consort or confidant or the assistant to the queen, because of the arena where the queen is, she is usually well dressed and given great amounts of ornament. So do not feel this is a person, as we sometimes see in TV, very poor and downtrodden. No, 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 no. You have to be around that queen. You have to be capable. You have to be able. You have to be well dressed because you are visible to her maids and her servants. So you are adorned to a certain stature. All her limbs were decorated with ornaments. Nobody had died. Nothing is lost. So she is in a different mode. Sandal paste still on her body. Her body, you could smell the perfume. Think about what I'm saying. In these times when people have a loss, they are dressed in white. They are preparing for funeral. They are in that mode. But here this one is dressed as a Rani, walking around as proud as a peacock. She is beautifully dressed and delighted at the exile of Ram. She was unaware of what was happening between Bharat and Kaikeyi. She is not aware that Bharat and Shatrughan are crying. Delightful in mind, she went close to Bharat, and at that very moment, the Dwarpalo, the doorkeeper, comes close to Shatrughan. As Bharat is watching Kaikeyi, Kunji, Shatrughan is getting a message from the doorkeeper. And the Dwarpalo says, this Kunji is responsible for the death of Dashrath. That very Kunji is responsible for the exile of Ram. This Kunji is responsible for the entire destruction of this house. Kunji has placed this entire city of Ayodhya in gloom. By the death of Kunji, all the trouble, all the malign, all the pain will end. And Shatrughan turned around with the same ferocity as you could imagine Lakshman. This is his twin brother. And he has this rage. And he says, I am going to kill Kunji now. And Shatrughan held on to the hair, all the pearl, all the flowers, all the bedecked is strewing as he held on to that hair. And he pulled all the pearls, all the gem, all the clip, you know more than me, ladies, started to pull out and fall to the ground. It was as if he lifted her into the air and turning her around, threw her on the ground. As she started to bawl and wail, freeing her hair from Shatrughan's hands, ran towards Kaikeyi now for safety. Rani, Rani, save me! Both Bharat and Shatrughan have come to kill me. Remember, Mantara was sent when Kaikeyi gets married, as per our discourse yesterday. Day before, sorry. When Raja Dashrath gets married to Kaikeyi. Her father sends this Kunji, this Mantara. Since then, she has been living here. She has grown old as time has passed. Bharat and Shatrughan are going to kill me. Shatrughan came in there with a rage, following this Kunji, and grabs hold of the hair again and drags her on the ground out of the mother's room. The muktahara and all the different clips, all the jewel that she's wearing by the ears, rip in the melee. And her ears is bleeding. Her hairline is being pulled back so much that blood is popping out of her hairline. As she's being dragged, she's coated in whatever dust mixed together with blood oozing from all the lash, all the different places. And she cannot recover from one, but she's getting more blows. She was the chief attendant of Kaikeyi, the governess or the midwife of Bharat. She brought Bharat into this world. And as destiny would have it, now she's helplessly lying on the ground, blood oozing out of her limbs, held by the hair, being dragged by this lion of a man, Shatrughan. Badly trashed Kaikeyi comes out. She's worried because Shatrughan is not somebody to play with. His rage, his force, when the enemy is in his sight, he does not stop until that person is destroyed. Seeing Kaikeyi, as he's going to turn, the person afraid of him, Kaikeyi she knows she's next. Mantara is dead. She's going to die. Mantara is dead. If I stay here and that lion comes to me, I'll be dead next. Kaikeyi starts to move quick to get away from them. Shatrughan stops. I listen, oh stepmother. A story from me. You cannot achieve salvation by running. You were the chief queen in my father's eye. He would not stay. Remember what we talked about the first night. He would not stay in Kaushalya's room. Because of the shrap of touching Sumintra, he would not stay by my mother, but he would stay by you, O stepmother. You enjoyed a prominent position in my father's eye, but your misfortune cannot be described. The pleasures you enjoyed here, not even Sachi, the spouse of Indra, would have enjoyed it. Why? What should I gain by killing you? Earning the sin of killing a mother to go to hell? You are bound to rot in Patal because of this. Because of the ill advice by Kunji, this maid servant, you have pushed your own soul into Patal. I shall not be relieved of my grief by killing you. Don't worry, stand firm, stand fast, stay one place. Don't feel that I will stop crying for my father if you die. But at the same time, I will not feel sorry if I kill you. But indeed, killing you, I am bound to go to hell. I shall kill before you your dear attendant. And he wrings her hair and he's lifting her. She's burning with pain and grief. This hunchback individual is in more strain because the neck is being pulled against the hunch of the spine. Her face is covered with dust and he's lifted. He says, "Oh, Kekai, oh, stepmother, look, your advisor, your great lawyer is here. Look at the sight." And as he held her up by the throat, he takes his weapon, the mudgara, and he hits her knees on both sides. And in this way, the wicked Mantara, did you know what happened to Mantara? It is not contained in Tulsidas Ramayan. It's here in Krittibasi Ramayan. The maidservant, became paralyzed, lame. She became damaged. If you ever see her in the play with the stick dragging, this is why she's dragging. But this happened after. Blood was spewing as her skin ripped with the lash. She's bawling in pain. But the maidservant, who was already hunched, lame now, made ugly because of the hair, all the decorations, she was lying as if it were unconscious, breathing slowly, as if the life was ready to leave her body. But Bharat interjects and he says, "Oh, little one, oh, brother, don't. It is a sin." Listen to this. Listen to what your dharma says. It is a sin to kill a woman. Slowly, Bharat, knowing the nature of his ferocity, "Even if you are tempted, brother, it is a sin to kill a woman. The sin that you will get, no amount of tapasya is going to help you. The blood and flesh has left her body. It is only bone. Do not beat her further. If she is killed, you are inviting further unhappiness into this family. You are inviting further sin into this family. You are going to cause great trouble." But Shatran is not, it is as if it's going in one side and coming out the next side, because here ready to let go to here. "I have not killed my mother because of fear." Bharat is talking about Kaikeyi. "I have not killed my mother because of fear of Ram." Then the hand let go. Imagine the hand let go of the ponytail. Hearing the Shatrahan lets go of Kunji immediately, leaving Kunji with Kaikeyi. While she was alive, Shatrahan does not strike her further. He says, "Oh brother, think what I am saying. It is known to the gods. It is known to the Devatas and the Devis that the process of destiny has to happen. The throne of Ayodhya was given to Ram, who knew that my own mother would make it turn in a different way, to make it otherwise happen. She was not satisfied in enjoying this place as that which was better than heaven was Swarglok. But because of the ill advice of one foolish woman, destruction has come. I have been disgraced for the fault of my mother. With what face should I make contact with Kausalya Mata? Satrahan, do not grieve on that account." Satrahan says to him, "Mother Kausalya knows very well this is not your fault. Thus, lamenting, let's go. Tears and everything, let's go. Let's go and meet mother." They go immediately from the apartment of Kaikeyi to Mother Kausalya, and they bow to her with reverence. And Mother, even in this case, she holds on to Bharat and Satrahan, and she puts Bharat on her lap and she starts to cry. She says, "Oh Bharat, Ram was to be king the next day and the day before. It had the Adi Vyas ceremony was to be performed, and that very time your mother pronounced that Ram had to be exiled. What treasure has Ram looted, O Bharat? Which woman did he kidnap? For what reason did he fall from grace in her eye? For what reason does he have to have matted locks instead of a crown? But, my dear boy, in order to remove the thorn of Ram, he had to be sent to the forest. Kaushalya Mata says to him, listen, O son of Kaikeyi, now let both you and your mother enjoy the kingship of Ayodhya. The one who is destined to have grief will have grief. Therefore, Bharat, enjoy the pleasures of kingship with your mother. Bharat jumped off at that lap and he put his hand together and he says, O mother, you should know that I am indeed the servant of Prabhu Sri Ram. I am in no way responsible for the exile of Ram. That I swear this at your feet. Let me inherit sin if it was the truth that I caused his exile. When a person who is a politician and he does not serve his people, but he serves himself, let me get that sin. Let me walk with the sin when people cause others to have revolt. When people lead revolutions against pious kings, let that sin remain with me. Having received proper education, if a person does not serve the teacher or the guru, let me earn that sin if I caused him, if I willed and I caused it through the mouth of Kaikeyi for Ram to go. If I have been lusting behind that throne, let me inherit the sin of taking teaching or performing some ritual, some sanskar and not paying the dakshina that is owed to the purohit. Let me get that sin. The sin of self-praise, backbiting against parents and teachers, let me get that sin. When somebody misappropriates the trust of a friend or a relative, let me get that sin. I swear by Shiva himself, let me fall dead, O mother, if I in any way desire the kingship to disregard, to discard Sri Ram. Kausalya listening to his oath that if I did do that, let me get the punishment. She says, I know and I understand now your state of mind. Like Ram, you are dedicated to Dharma. You are a very dharmic individual. Ram will return to Ayodhya after 14 years. Till such time, I may not survive. It is quite shameful. It is quite shameful, however, O Bharat, that your father's holy body is lying still in this house. Go and perform the last rites for him. All this is happening. But remember, as Sanatanis, we believe that, you see, for those of you looking on, and we have this attitude of waiting. Baba, we can't, somebody asked me one time, Pandit, would you do the funeral? Now, I'll be honest with you and I'll declare this, because of always reading or always involved in Hawan, I personally abstain a lot of times from doing funeral. I'll get you somebody, I'll help you. But not so often am I in that type of prayer. So the person came and asked me and I felt I should do it. So I said, okay, we could do it. Could we do it tomorrow? Pandit, how are we going to do it tomorrow? And we had to have wake. And then we had to wait for Tom, Dick and Harry to come in. So when you want to do it? 7 days from now, 3 days from now, 5 days from now. The Hindu way is to discard that body ASAP. The entire thing, I've talked about this many times, Hindu people, when they don't understand their dharma, they see other cultures and religions doing things and they emulate. Going back to the days when people used to take flour or ash and coat the deceased bedroom, and if lock the door, and tomorrow morning you get up and you see a footprint, a horse footprint, whatever it be, your father who now died and his soul don't reach the Yamraj, come back and reborn as a 1-foot chicken or a 1-foot horse. That was done in Trinidad, that was done in other places. But then we realized, oh, that is people who follow a different religion, spirit, different religion. So it stopped. Then it had, in the times of the indentured labor, we were surrounded a lot by English and Irish people. Scottish people. In their vernacular, in their process of death, they would sing, knock drums, play cards, drink and celebrate. So when you see somebody tips the bottle of rum, this is for the fallen, this is for the dead, it's coming from them. The Indian Hindu in particular, wants to emulate the white man so much. In those days, the landowner, the estate owner, that they started to do this thing called wake. So think about how it goes there. You light in the air when the person now pass away, dies with the pariah and all that. Then start to drink rum, play card, etc. And when the day of the funeral comes, start to offer pinda and start to fast. The truth is, the faster to the time of death, not barring things like autopsy and all that, depending on the death, the faster we can dispose of that body to prevent pain to the deceased, better. So it is likely, just as how people used to take down curtain, turn around mirrors, like what is believed in Islam. Islam, it is believed that the angels of God is coming through the door. So if you see eyes, like in pictures or mirrors, they head back. So you will never see a picture of their Lord. You will see his name in writing. You wouldn't see the stray mirror or a family photo or so on. So I saw the man up the road do that. He didn't have picture, you had to cover the mirror and all that. So the Hindu, not understanding, started to do it. So just as how today's world, we don't take down curtain, we don't do the mirror business. We learned what is ours and we maintain our identity, and those practices fell off. Likewise, one day I suspect the art of wake would be replaced with the art of satsang until the funeral is done, or the funeral is done, if not the same day, the next morning. God bless you to reach to that level of discipline and responsibility as a Sanatanist. She says, for this reason, Bharat was grief-stricken day and night because of the father's departure and then Ram's departure. But Vashish Muni gets in. He says, you are a student of wisdom. Wisdom. We spoke about wisdom recently. It is of no use to advise you. You know everything. And you know, as you tread the path of truth, the king has left for the heavenly abode. He's not here. To cry on him would block him and would cause the destruction of virtue. Look at your father. Your father is covered in oil and his body is waiting, because none of you were here, waiting for one of you to come and do your duty. How has the king died when he survived with people with your training? What are you grieving for? Isn't Ram, isn't yourself, your twin, and you all alive? He's still here and he's dependent on you to do the right thing. Hearing the words of Vashish, Bharat did not speak any further. The grief-stricken words that he was once blaring out held up, and he engaged in his duty. He knows that the shocks that he had taken were, incredible, beyond comprehension. His mental agony was there. But in the same way, he has to do his duty. Rise up. As Bharat now goes close to his father. Father, talk to your Bharat one last time. All your people in the city have come to meet you as they are preparing to do the rites. You talk to all of them. For the fault of my mother, do not blame me, Father. Don't leave me, Father. If I am at fault, forgive me, Father. And Vashisht again, as they are prepared now with all the ingredients, it is time for you to stop crying, O Bharat. Get ready for Pitri Shraddh and cremation and Teshti Sanskar of your father's body. The cremation is the right of the elder brother, but since Ram is not here, you have to perform his final rites. And it goes at great detail to describe the types of wood, the types of flowers, the huge pyre, the amount of ghee, containers. I saw a video, I posted it on Facebook, where all these women were toting Ganga Jal on their head to go and bathe Ram. In the same fashion, different amount of ghee and different things to anoint the body. They washed his body clean of the oil in the Surya river's water. And in this way, kasturi and perfume and different things were were placed upon his body. Different things were done to decorate him. And with the chanting of the various scriptures as his body was marched from where he was to where the pyre stood, Bharat was there, but he still felt filled with grief. Excuse me. After doing the necessary, bringing the body, Bharat instructs them. He says, all of you should go back to your homes, to your place, as I feel as if I'm going to place myself on this pyre as well. My father has left for the heavenly abode. My brother has left for the forest. It is no use for me to go back to Ayodhya. It's better I go with my father. Vashish Muni, the foster father of Raja Dashrath, you can imagine his circumstance being attached to him, but also the guru of these children. This what you're saying here, Bharat, is not proper. Birth and death are destined in this world. No one can get rid of death in this world. And even the person who dies is entitled to be reborn. All have to die and no one is eternal. Stop crying. Return to home. The city of Ayodhya is deserted today because everybody is here. And we need to establish and settle his rights. And we need to settle the city to bring stability with his laws. Thus saying Vashish Muni to Bharat. Bharat, for that first night, he remained there calling on Raghunath, Raghunath, the Lord of the Raghukul. And on the 13th day, he performs Pinda Dan and all the associated rites of Pinda Karma and so on. All the rites, all the various type of charity that are listed in the text, all were done by Bharat. In fact, Krittibasi says so much gold, gems, grain, cows, ghee is given that Bharat is always going to be listed as the most charitable of the 4 sons of Raja Dashrath. He is immortalized as the person that gave the most. After completing all his rites at that time and performing all the charity, all the relatives and friends went to the abode of Bharat and said, Raja Dashrath has entrusted you with the care of the kingdom of Ayodhya, extending up to the ocean and he has left to the heavenly abode. Why are you neglecting your duty as our, kingship, as our king, which was bequeathed by your father? Being a king, you have to serve your people. Except you, there's no one else here fit to be king. In case you don't become king of this kingdom of your father, this kingdom will perish. Outside forces will invade and kill and rape and plunder. Bharat says, do not talk on this topic anymore. As per the family tradition of the Raghu dynasty, the younger brother cannot become king when the elder one is alive. Becoming king, if I rule the country, the entire blame of my mother shall now be on me too, because I benefited from this treachery. Brother Ram is the most suitable person for this kingship. Ram should be made king, not me. Let us go then, people. All you want a king? Let us go and find Prabhu, Sri Ram, Brother Ram, where he is dwelling, and place the Raj Dand, the staff, and the chatra, the marks of a king. Give that to him and crown him king. And we shall bring him back to Ayodhya, nullifying these crazy things that has happened. But I, keeping the word of my father, I will remain in exile for 14 years and I'll be over happy with that. According to the uneven roads, let them be made smooth by the passage of our entire army as we move with the army, so that the road becomes easy. But let it be that we are going to welcome a king. Think what I'm saying, to welcome a king home. Then all the people said to Bharat with folded hand, your glory will spread throughout this universe. But the unglorious act of Kaikeyi That remained within the heart of Bharat. It is so funny that all what this mother did was denounced, but the son, in not accepting what the mother did, becomes glorious and glorified. Bharat travels, wastes no time, assembles the army, and he starts to move to get back Sri Ram from the forest. All servants, king, queen, the ladies, senior, junior, everybody want to go now. The entire army is on the move. But Kaikeyi was left out. Kaushalya, Sumindra, Vashish Muni, all others, everybody went. But Kaikeyi left, they were left with a small contingent in the castle. Kaikeyi could not go because of fear of Bharat. And she has to stay with the crooked, ailing Kunji now. After traveling some distance, even Vashish says, "Oh Bharat, even if Brahma tries, Ram will not return to Ayodhya. I feel this entire exercise is fruitless. Should we be even taking up this trouble? It is better for us to go and rule and maintain the stability of our kingdom. Your father would be pleased with that. Ram has gone to the forest. Follow your father's words." And Bharat replies, "O sage, you are the family priest. Being so, do not think ill. Do not talk ill. Do not talk of ill times. I bow at your feet 100 times, but kindly do not repeat those inauspicious words again. There is no other way to go without going with Ram. I shall entrust the entire kingship to him after his return. There is no doubt about this." As Bharat is going, the journey continues. And Bharat did not like the advice of Muni, sage Vashish. However, he is continuously moving and he is not filching from his duty. He is not moving. He is steadfast. He is going to see Ram. He is chanting the name of Ram, 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 Ram. Long before Hanuman chants the name Ram, 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 Bharat chanted the name of Ram first. After crossing Yamuna, Bharat enters into the city of Shringavirpur. Seeing this vast army passing, who is there? Guha, the boatman, the Nishad. Nishad Raj. Sometimes when we watch the movie, we think the Nishad, the boatman who washed the foot of Sri Ram, is this pauper. But truthfully, he's a king. And we heard in discourse where this Nishad in previous was the son of Vashish that got a shrap to be born in this form. There are different discourse, but mentioning for you to know why is he so blessed, because of he was born into it. He born with this moment to meet Prabhu, to get the upliftment that he needed. Nishad, seeing the entire army, and he recognizes the Raghud dynasty flag, does through his people. They inquire and the soldiers say that's Ram's brother Bharat, looking for Ram. So Nishad gets it in his head. This is of no good. The Awadh army is coming here now with horse, elephant, and so much different cavalry. As Bharat is not satisfied with the throne of Ayodhya, he has come to kill Ram. And taking up his own bow and arrow, Nishad goes to speak to Bharat. The entire army will cut into pieces in his mind. Bharat will not be allowed to go back alive. If it is, he has come here to harm Ram, my friend. Guha met Bharat and speaks to him. And Bharat says, and he introduces himself with the name Ram. I am the younger brother of Ram. Please bring curd, O king of the forest. Bring curd, honey, ghee, sheer, banana, grape, whatever you have, and feed my army. If you have, and Guha did bring rohita fish and different type of fish and placed it for the army, the soldiers to eat because of where they were located by the bank of the river. He felt, in case Bharat has come to make Ram king, I will adore him. But if he has come with evil intentions, I will cut him down and throw his pieces to those same fishes that remain in the river. Sumantra says, the minister, Bharat has reached here to get back Ram, O Guha, to get back Ram to Ayodhya. Tell us now, which way did he go? Guha explaining his time with Ram and how he had helped him cross the Ganga and they had gone. But if you wait just a little in the morning, I will help you. I will help you eat. All of you eat. Stay here with me and my people. And in the morning, I will help you to cross the Ganga, and then you will be able to follow in his footsteps until such time you get him. But I have a little confusion. I have a divergence in my mind. This doubt is brought about you and this army. How is it that if you are coming to crown him king, you are coming with this force? Oh Guha, you have not understood me properly. Bharat understands and he's answering him. Without the feet of Ram, there is no other place for me. Without Ram, kingship is just a word. It is not for me. I have come with the kingship, the staff and the dun to give it to Ram and let the army welcome him back with pomp and celebration. Guha says, I thank you for laying my mind to rest. Your glory will spread throughout this world as the most virtuous individual. You are a star in the sky. If the sky was called Ram, you are a star in his sky. If his head in the Ram, in the head of Sri Ram, if there's a gem, you will be that gem. You are something to boast about, and may more people emulate that brotherly love that you have for your brother. May people follow in your footsteps, and when they do so, and they're able to live to this standard, may they, like you, purify a dynasty of all past sins. When Bharat wants to hear, he's so happy to hear somebody speak about his brother like this. He says, tell me, how long did you serve my Prabhu, my brother? He says, I was able to spend one night with God. O true brother of Ram, I served him day and night. And Lakshman did as well, holding bow and arrow. He did not sleep. He served him well. And when Sumantra had sent them off, when he was sent off, Prabhu told me, if I remain near here, people will constantly come from Ayodhya to visit me. Therefore, I have to go to some place at a distance, and therefore he left here. For this reason, he takes a route to go deeper into the forest. Oh dear king, oh dear Bharat, I helped him cross the Ganga. I had to wash his feet. And in this way, I ferried him across, and it was a sad parting. Getting the news from Guha, where Sri Ram, the direction, Bharat resolves that it is time to move the army on the same route. And after covering the entire army had slept and they got up, they had walked at a distance. And whilst walking, they're walking towards the Ganga now. They see a bed made of straw and a little piece of cloth. And they recognize a gem, an ornament, Sita's ornament that had been left there. And he's asking Vashish Muni, how is it Ram, who is accustomed to sleeping on silken couches and the regality of a kingly life, how did he sleep on straw? How is it because of my sin, my mother's sin, Janki had to sleep here? What type of brother-in-law, what type of brother am I that I cause this hardship on other people's children? Not only Ram. Ram is the son of Dashrath, but what about Janki? What did she do to deserve this? Stunned, Bharat fell on the ground as he holds the straw to smell his brother. Engrossed in grief, Bharat becomes more bewildered with grief. He becomes as if cast into a chasm, and he cannot see day nor night. Very gloomy. But again, Vashish Muni tells him, the army has to go. We are wasting time, let's go. And Guha remains with them to get them where they need to be. And by the end of the day, they reach to the tumultuous Ganga. Guha says, let us rest here, and tomorrow with my army, with my bevy of boats, I will take all of you across. It is said that when all the boats were lined up in the morning, and it was time to cross with Guha, the army was so massive. When crossing that water between boat to boat, you could not see a sign or the space. You could not get a good look at the Ganga. There was so much boats. They crossed, and after everybody had made it across, Guharaj, Nishad Raj says, Prabhu, I take your leave because there's nothing else for me to do, and we have to get these boats where they have to be, and we will continue to monitor this area from any Rakshas. May you be successful as I go back, and when you are coming back, please look in on me. Kindly remember me for any favor or any service you need. Oh Bharat Bhai, may you please remain with me. Bharat says, oh Guharaj, you are a friend of Ram. It was quite appropriate for me to adore you because you are his friend. You embraced him, and because you embraced him, you are touched by him. You are holy because of him. And he bent down as kingly as he was, and Bharat bowed to Nishad because of that contact. They embrace, and Bharat, for his people, leaves him great amounts of gifts, perfume, things that had, perfume sounds strange, but remember in those times it was something that was traded. The different types of food, gems, different forms of wealth was given. After receiving all the gifts, Guha leaves, and Bharat quickly now wants to search the cavalry, the elephants, the chariots, everybody's moving, and they moved further south of Madhav Tirath. He was accompanied as he left a contingent of the army there, and they continued to move on as he reached to the ashram of Bharadwaj. Bharadwaj is this great saint that is involved in the story of Ramayana. I just want you to remember the name Bharadwaj, but another satsang I'll explain his part. Bharat says, I, the son of Dashrath, am the younger brother of Ram, and I have come in search of Sri Ram and Lakshman. Swami, I have come to find him. Could you tell me if you've seen him? I want to make my purpose very clear. I have my army. They are sitting at a little distance back. Because of the size, I did not want to bring them to the ashram. It is 7 Ashaukani, meaning how many? The Ashaukani is how big the force is. There's a certain check for each flank. 7 of them, which is very big. I wanted to feed them, but I had to leave them in the forest to fend, to find food, etc. Because how could I bring them into your ashram? Your ashram is small and they are huge. And for this is my reason for leaving them there. Do not feel I was hiding my intention. My only intention is to get Sri Ram and to take him back to Ayodhya. By moving day and night, the army is very tired and they are resting. And hearing the words of Bharat, the sage smiled and commanded Bharat to send for the army, whatever their size, that he would entertain all of them in this divine abode. Bring them. Bharat doubted him. Bharat did not believe that this vast army could fit here. How could they accommodate them in this place? But listening to the command, he went for them. And once he left, Bharadwaj went to his Yagyashala, his mandap, where is Havan Kund, for children to understand. Goes to the Havan Kund and he calls upon all the devatas. I need your help now. And because of his Ashirvad and his Vardhan from past prayer, when he calls, they come. Vishwakarma comes first and he builds this massive ashram. It stretches 80 yojan in size. The size of this place is untold. Different bed chambers, sleeping chambers, different causeway for the different prabhas, Yamuna, Sindhu, Kaveri, different places, waterways, different things. Many shlok describing. Then Kubir comes and dresses all the different places in gold. The wind allowed cool air from Mount Sumeru to blow into this ashram. Indra reaches there with the vases of the Amrit that was received from the churning of the ocean for people to drink and revitalize the energy. Agni, Varun comes, the Navgraha comes, Vasu comes, different sages come, all the Gandharvas, the musicians from the heavenly regions, sage Tumburu comes, Narad Muni comes, the dancers from heaven come. All of them are assembling there in the ashram of Bharadwaj. It is considered to be an important point. At this point, Bharat he reaches the army, but he's surprised to see that this little place has transformed in the twinkle of an eye into this huge city, as it were. But the devatas that are gathered there are concerned. In case Ram returns to Ayodhya by the asking of Bharat, all the devatas, all the sages are going to die. The devatas are worried that the sages are going to die because of the acts of the Rakshas. Ravan would not be killed, and the pious people will suffer constant pain and hardships if Prabhu's role is obscured in any way. For this reason, as they planned amongst themselves, let us be as if they do not want to leave this place. We will entice them with all forms of maya and comfort so that they don't want to move forward. And if his resolution, if Bharat is not truthful or genuine, he will stay right here and enjoy all the heavenly gifts and never want to leave this place, forgetting about Ram, allowing Sri Ram to do his duty. And in doing so, the devatas prepare to do something, and this is why they did it, to prevent Ram from returning to Ayodhya. Somebody asked me, if Bharat and Sri Ram are so close, if Bharat had just asked him nicely, couldn't Bharat entice Sri Ram to come back, especially inside of Dashrath dying? And this is what happens. All the devatas assembled and they made their plan. Because of the creation of Bharadwaj, all the people that came, the normal people of Ayodhya, the army people, the different types of soldiers, they all wanted to reside here now. All massage, food, pleasure, all types of things were given as if they had reached the heights of heaven. Everybody was revitalized. They were very comfortable. They were given all the different types of food, salty, sweet, the type of food to chew, the type of food to suck on, the type of food to lick, the type of food to drink, innumerable, too many types. And they were looking as their belly started to protrude because they were eating so much and they were so comfortable. Nobody's exercising, nobody is doing any type of workout. The soldiers are not practicing the art of war, and they are all enjoying all the delicacies. Their bodies have become softened by the constant lounging, all the hummings in their ears of the gunguru, of the apsaras as they dance is very enticing. And all the men in the army enjoy watching the damsels dance as it enticed them based on Indra's wish, so that they don't want to move and leave Sri Ram in the forest. All were thinking about enjoying this place. Never had they gotten this type of pleasure anywhere. As soldiers, it is as if this life is so delightful and sweet, is as if I have reached a heaven already. All others felt like this except for Bharat. Bharat, who was engrossed in his thoughts of his brother and confined his reverence not to the creation of destruction, not in the woman, not in the food, not in the drink, but only in the reverence of the feet. When he closed his eyes, you and I might think about different things. But Bharat is only thinking about the feet of Sri Ram. Just now I'll see his feet, just now I'll see his feet, and so on. And for this reason, the sage did all of this for the sake of Bharat, but the mind of Bharat was engrossed elsewhere with the feet. One morning, Bharat went to the sage and says, I have spent nights in the ashram Tell me, O sage, where shall I meet Ram? Kindly give me advice to be successful in my mission. My mission is to return Ram to Ayodhya. No one is so devoted to your brother as you, O Bharat. In this world, there is no one to compare for you. Ask for a boon, O Bharat. Bharat said, O sage, in case you intend to give me a boon, then bless me, that my task must be accomplished. The sage says to Bharat, I particularly, because of his vision, his drishti, you could know the mind of Ram. You can meet Sri Ram, O Bharat, but you will not be able to bring him back. Ram is at present dwelling in Chitrakoot. It's a mountain top, a mountain peak, a village that is there. And you will meet with him there, but you will not be able to bring him back. That is impossible. Now advised by all the Munis, junior and senior Munis, go to Chitrakoot, and according, Bharat assembles the army. Everybody wakes up from this slumber that they was in, and they leave the ashram of Bharatwaj, and they start to shake up, get ready to move, as they headed now to the mount called Chitrakoot. And because of the vastness of the army, the people on Chitrakoot, all the Munis, the people that were living as hermits, they were very happy to be in the vicinity of Sri Ram, Lakshman, Sita. Everybody is happy to have them. How lucky we are that he has come to this vicinity, and they enjoy his presence. But when the thump of the armies being heard, the trumpets, the different bellowings of sounds, the dum-dum of the drum announcing the approach of the army, they become perturbed and they run to Sri Ram. It said here in Slok 96, Sri Ram, Sita and Lakshman are waiting to see who is making this disruption. Bharat seated at the gate, Ram seated at the gate of the little kutia, the little ashram that they had created, this grass hut. Sita is inside out of safety and reservedness. Lakshman is sitting further outside. Like a watch dog, he's ready. In case any danger is coming, he's there to protect his brother. At that point, Bharat and Satrahan come out of the chariots, and they are humbly, simple clothes, not too much gold. They've come to the ashram where Sri Ram lived, miserable, traveling, their face, their body, especially Bharat and Satrahan, who had not been eaten. They fell at the feet of Prabhu Sri Ram, and he took them up and he embraced them and he squeezed them. Those people who came, they bowed, they embraced the mother, the Vashish Muni, they bowed, Sri Ram bowed to him. Bharat, holding on to the feet, he did not want to let go. And he says, what have you come, oh big brother, why have you come to the forest leaving the kingdom? Ladies say all type of ill things and with ill feelings. Why are you taking on that ill-gotten advice? Why are you studying that? Kindly excuse me, I am the cause of this trouble. Come back to Ayodhya. While ruling the country, all ill feelings will disappear. When you become king and time will pass, all will be forgotten, all will be healed. Don't worry, don't study nobody. You are the pride of Ayodhya, the essence of the kingdom. Without you, Ayodhya is currently engulfed in darkness. Remember, Sri Ram leaves Dashrath. Sri Ram leaves Dashrath. He does not know. He says, O Lord, go to Ayodhya and take up the reins of the kingdom, and I shall be your slave and your servant. I will listen to your every command. Sri Ram says, Oh Bharat, you are quite a wise person. In spite of this, whatever you have spoken is not proper. Don't blame my stepmother unnecessary. I have come to the forest at the command of my father, and I am intent on honoring the word of my father. And for 14 years, I will remain here. And after 14 years, I will return to Ayodhya and I will see you then. Don't worry. Leave the topic. Forget that. I am not leaving. Leave that. I would like to hear about the welfare of my father. At this, Vashish says, because Bharat head dropped. It is then he realized Sri Ram does not know Dashrath had died. Bharat will not be able to say anything, but I will tell you the truth about your father. He has left for the heavenly abode. Hearing this, Ram, Lakshman and Sita became engulfed in grief. Ram started to cry and he dropped to his knees, head to the floor, and he was lamenting. Vashish said to him, compose yourself, Ram, according to the scripture. Now that you have heard, I don't know if you've ever heard this, I know I've read it. There's a reason why your pundit tells you. You see when prayers going on, you see in the temple, put down the phone. You have prayers by your house, guests are coming, but nobody should come to talk to you. There's a rule that says, the phone ringing, don't answer the phone. There are old methods of communication, new methods. New methods inclusive email, text, phone call. The reason is you are fasting and preparing to do your prayer. But if you are told of someone dying, you become unclean. You have become chutihar, and use our local word, chutihar, by the listening of the dead. For this reason, when prayers is being done, do not communicate. Isolate yourself so that you can maintain your purity. Do the prayer, and afterwards the message, whatever the message is, somebody come to talk to you, you get a text, you get an email, you get whatever, you'll pick up with it after. Get through your ceremony. He says, based on our scripture, you need to perform Shraddh for your father during these 3 days. The entire, the Bhandara, it says here Bhadara, is performed by Bharat, but now you are unclean. Take, and he takes jewel. Bharat hands him through Vashish, hands him from the treasury, things that belong to Ayodhya, coins, gold, whatever. Take this money and perform your father's rituals, spending as much as you wish. O student of wisdom, have patience. Who on this earth could advise you? Your father has gone to the heaven because he spoke the truth. Why do you want to destroy virtue by lamenting? The body of your late father was kept in oil till the arrival of Bharat, who performed the Anteshti Sanskar. Whatever other rite had to be performed was done. Charity was given. Hearing all the tradition about the tradition of charity in the family, Ram performed now the rites that he had to do, perform the charity. Coins were given to those same people living in the forest. Sri Ram says, tell me, O priest, O Vashish, how to perform this Shraddh for my father. Ram, Lakshman, Sita then moved swiftly, performing the Shraddh to purify themselves at the bank of the river Falgu. Falgu is a river that have a little story, we're coming to it, that in India now, where that region, just above Varanasi, Gaya. They bathed in that, at that time, big river and performed Tarpan together with Sita. When you go to wedding, pay attention, you will hear the person say, husband, the lady, husband, if I'm to marry you, I wish to join in Pitri Yagya, Pitri worship, Pitri Puja. So if somebody says she can't offer Tarpan, subject to correction, please join in. Not watch, not sit down from the kitchen and hide. Join. There are certain things that are man-made, and there are certain things that are scripturally guided, right? And purity is one of those things. Somebody has to fast, cleanse itself, and in the body, the person, they don't want to be out of control of the bodily fluid. Whether we are talking about the coal, mucus fluid from the lady, diarrhea from the man or the woman, out of control. You hear people say, you're going by the coffin, don't cry. This fluid, the spittle, it could contaminate, So contamination becomes a major aspect of rituals, in all rituals. You're going to do the wedding and just bathe them with the cow products, milk, dahi. It's supposed to be cow urine, gobar, and ghee as well. But shortcutting, it is work. But the correct way, the 5 ingredients, panchgavya, the 5 things that come from the cow, purify the person, get rid of the sins, They're going to do the prayers, bless them with the best outcome. Maybe if we start to follow some of the correct things, we will not end up with the crash type families that we are seeing in today's world. You guide me. They all bathed in the river, performed tarpan, 3 of them, and with their names and gotra, calling the different names and offered in there. The 3 of them sat at the bank of the Falgu River together with relations, their family who had come with Bharat, and performed Shraddh. Sri Ram tells Vashish, tell me the cause of his death. People who born in the Solar dynasty in the Raghu clan live very long. How is it my father died so early? Vashish says, the king had left for the heavenly abode due to grief of the separation of his son, separation from you. Sumandra told him that you had left for the forest, and thereafter reciting your name until his Jivatma left his body. On hearing the story of Dashrath's death, all 3 lamented and cried right there. And then they consoled themselves and they completed the ritual of Shraddh. All the rishis residing in that tapovan, or where that place where Sri Ram was living, at the time of the Shraddh, at the bank of the Falgu River, where the Pindadan and Sapindadan and all others rituals would have been done, performed with the water from the Falgu. After 3 days, the rishis pronounced that the result of the Shraddh, the Pindadan, would reach the king, and he would be allowed to live comfortable in heaven. After the completion of the Shraddh, Vashish said to Ram, it is better, secretly, better you convey command to Bharat to do what has to be done. There is no other way to get Bharat to do something except for when you, Prabhu, talk to him. If you talk to him about what has to happen in the future, he'll listen. But for the rest of us, he's not listening at all. He says, if I'm afraid, if that, Vashish is telling Sri Ram, if that throne remains unoccupied from foreign enemies, mishaps will come and the people will suffer. Therefore, you need to act. You are a very wise person. Please guide him. And Sri Ram tells Bharat, after 14 years in this forest, I will come. I will come. I will come back to Ayodhya. For that, you go back and manage state. Bharat says, how will I manage what is not mine, brother? This is yours. Give me your chawal, give me your slippers, give me your sandals. And I will take it and place it on the throne, and the throne will be yours. And with your slippers there, with your slippers being there, I will sit on the side and I will run things for you like a minister in your absence until such time you come, and you will move your slippers. How does that sound? Sri Ram smiled to hear him. He says, take these slippers, consecrate them at Nandigram, and rule the country from there. Carefully, Bharat takes his sandals and rests them on his head. He was quite delighted. He was happy with this solution, jubilant, ecstasy now. His depression left. Getting the permission from Sri Ram, Bharat proceeds to crown the sandals. He rests the crown on the sandals. And he started to prepare. Whilst separating from Ram, people cried. The sound of that cry filled Chitrakoot. The queen, Kaushalya, holds Ram in her lap and she is holding on to him and tears flow from her. Sumitra is holding on to Lakshman and they are crying, and they both, the 2 ladies, look at the daughter-in-law Sita and they cry, they pity the situation. Sending Bharat off, sending that army with everyone off. Ram stays in Chitrakoot for some time, but Bharat reaches home 3 days, quickly reach home. And he put the slippers on the throne just as he said. And he remains on a deer skin, on a buck skin. And from there, with full intention to maintain stability, because the city cannot be lost. The country cannot go into ruins because of his grief. He's relieved of the sin because Raja Ram is on that throne. His brother is on that throne, and he ruled from the ground. And he maintained and built the city further. Whosoever should listen to this discourse, whenever the name of Ram is being chanted or sung, is relieved of all sins and goes to heaven. Siyapati Ramachandra ki jai. Bear with me as we continue in this last couple of verses here. Rama and Sita dwelt in Chitrakoot for 1 year, and the day of Dashrath's death, anniversary, the 1 year, the anniversary date came around. Ram and Sita, Lakshman, we shall perform the Shraddh. Sri Ram is telling them, we shall perform the Shraddh, what you say is 1 year Shraddh, for our father. For that purpose, Sri Ram, the enemy of all daityas, in making this plan, spoke to Sita. Remove the gem-studded ring from your hand, Devi, and give it to me, as I'll use it as payment for all the material that is necessary for this type of prayer. With the ring, they walked over the sand on the bank of the Falgu River. Falgu River is flowing in Gaya. Until today, it is a very sandy place. It is a different type of river. It's not a muddy river. Both of them went past to arrange all the material, but Sita Mata, she remains on the bank of the Falgu, and she's walking, watching the environment, so on, walking a distance past. Dashrath appears. This Yagya, I did tell you, this Yagya has to deal with Dashrath, and this is why I'm reading this for you. This is what is happening on his 1 year. Dashrath appears to Sita, and he says at that very moment to her, I am extremely hungry and thirsty. Have you ever dreamt your loved one, and they're holding tariya and lota, and they're hitting it so, and they're calling for food, and you'll hear elders say, oh, it looked like so-and-so is going through some difficulty, and they want tarpan, bhojan, food, parsad, something must be offered, puja must be done to help the soul. In the same way, I am extremely hungry and thirsty. You are my daughter-in-law. I am your sasu. I am your father-in-law. Please feed me. Give me 1 pinda. Give me 1 pinda, and I will be satisfied. And I will that 1 pinda will remove hunger and thirst, and I will be good. To Sita's reply, O father, I shall have no objection, but in the presence of Sri Ram, I am not entitled to do it. He is the more fitting person. To this, Dashrath replies, don't you know your place in this family? To me, you are as good as Ram. Carry no apprehension in your mind, O moon-faced Devi. Citing all those people who are around us as witness, perform the Shraddh for me. As desired by me, I wish to get this from you. Sita says, okay, my dear father, and she called the Vata Vriksh, I'll tell you who's that, the Vata Vriksh and Tulsi, and said, today you shall be my witness. In case Sri Ram questions me about what I did or how I did, the Vata Vriksh, the Brahman, the Falgu River, the Tulsi plant, all of you shall be my witness. Seeing the Brahman, the Sita Mata says to him, in case Ram comes and inquires what was done about this Shraddh, how it was done, tell the story of how Dashrath appeared in front of us and spoke. And Sita continues the Shraddh, but at that time, she only could make the pinda with the sand, that is the bank of the Falgu. Not even food, not rice, not like, even in Mahabharat, when Yudhishthira has to take out the pinda is made with the snow when they're on the hill, on the mountain. Not even that. That which is consumed, she makes it with sand, which comes from the bank of the Falgu River. And Dashrath was so satisfied that he departs to Swarglok immediately. But Sita is not too comfortable because she knows, Sri Ram, this is his duty. This is what he would have wanted to do. On the other hand, Ram and Lakshman return from collecting the material, and they're still thinking about doing the Shraddh for the death anniversary. Seeing Ram, Sita was delighted from within. to see him, physically see him. Oh, Raghuvar, in your absence, the soul of Dashrath had come, and he wanted me to perform the Shraddh. Accepting the pinda of sand, of the Falgu sand that was given, he left for Swarglok. Sri Ram then said to her, accepting pinda of sand is unthinkable. There's no merit in it. That's not dictated in our scriptures. That is not how you make the pinda. Meaning, we spoke about Nandi Shraddh, Nandi Mukh Shraddh, where they take the pulp, tiltadi, grapes and raisins and whatever fruit is in season, the pulp, and they make the pinda. People make a big fuss of Urdi pinda, Tripindi pinda, different type of Shraddh call for different type of pinda. In Devi Bhagavad, you will see people offering pinda in different ceremonies where they offer flesh, to be quite honest. He says, but nowhere is it says that the pinda is supposed to be made of sand. What are you talking about? This is unthinkable. Bring a witness in whose presence all of this happened. And you're saying he went to heaven, that it worked. How could you know if he went to heaven? Bring somebody who could back this statement up. You bring a witness here about this, otherwise we are going to begin our ceremony. And Sita Mata turned and she looked at the Brahman who had done the ritual. Bear with me as I'm going over a little bit here. The Brahman thought to himself, quickly, Sri Ram is going to ask me if this Shraddh was done, if it was successful, and I'm going to deny it. If I deny it, Raghunath will call me back and have to repeat the ceremony. If he does this, I will get paid twice. I will get twice the gifts, and I will be twice the richer. So when asked, Raghunath asked the Brahman, did you see my father Dashrath? Brahman says in the presence of Sita Mata, I did not see the king Dashrath. On hearing this, Ram laughs at Sita. But Sita felt ashamed. She felt ashamed and her face went down like that. Sita then enraged, she pronounces Shrap upon the Brahman. And she says, from today, O Brahman, you and your race, even if you become a millionaire, you will never be freed of the overcoming tendency of a beggar. You will always be a beggar. Siyapati Ramachandra ki jai. Sri Ram says, Devi, why are you so annoyed? He says, okay, bring another witness. I'm sure there's another witness on hearing. And I'm reading for you this part in case somebody wants to know. Chapter 23, Ayodhya Khanda, Krittibasi Ramayan. And I am around, where is it? Where's the mark? Where's the mark? Where's the mark? Where's the mark? Read on this page. Is it Slok 104? Yeah. Slok, just for your record, Slok 104. So she goes and she brings the Tulsi plant. So we have sometimes, you see, we are doing puja, you have your Tulsi. Even if the Pandit don't use it, except Ganesh puja, even if the Tulsi plant is present and we don't worship her, she has a role as a witness. Tulsi Devi is going to get asked, but Tulsi Mata is in a different thought because she becomes jealous of Sita. She thought that instead of Sita being close to Ram, it should be her because this is an incarnation of Vishnu and Tulsi is quite dear to Vishnu. She's accustomed being with him, when he's in Shaligram form. So, in this incident, where Dashrath appeared to Sita, it shouldn't be to Sita, it should be to her. And for this reason, when Tulsi is asked, did you see his father, Dashrath? Tulsi Devi answered, I have not seen your father on the bank of this Falgu river. On hearing this, Janki was disgusted and enraged by the pronouncement that Tulsi says and gives her shrap. You have hurt my inner feelings because you are planted in all places. You will be planted in more places. Your leaves, though, are placed on reverence on the head of Mahavishnu, Shaligram worship. But henceforth you shall be growing. You shall sprout up in the most unclean, not only in religious places, not only in holy places, because this confused many people. If Tulsi is given as a sign that the land or the devatas are happy, it's an auspicious place, I have Tulsi growing, how come Tulsi does be growing in the drain? Nothing, bale don't grow there, neem don't grow there, kush grass don't grow there, but now Tulsi growing in some places where you do expect, and Baba, I don't know what to do, pull it out or leave it, what to do? Listen why it happens. Where All forms of jackals and dogs will urinate and leave their refuge. Smiling Sri Ram says, now that is done because of the Tulsi Katha, to humble her. Listen, Janki, if there is any other witness, produce that person. Sita Mata says, O ocean of virtue, my other witness is the river Falgu. That river stood witness here as we did the prayer and saw everything. But the river developed some temptation and thought, in case I speak against Sita, then I will get more offerings, tarpan, the benefit of the Shraddh material, the puja material, and we put it in the river. I will get the touch of Prabhu Sri Ram himself if he does the tarpan offerings. Therefore, the river says, when Sri Ram asked the river, did you see the son of Aj? Remember, you learn who Aj is, father of Dashrath. The river says, listen, Raghunath, I have not seen Dashrath. Hearing this, Sita cried in a loud voice, today I put a curse on you, Falgu river. As well, you will flow, you will dry and become a scanty waterway where dogs and jackals will bathe and frolic and play. Till today, you will pass people who are on Tirath, going to Gaya to do Shraddh, to do Shraddh. And they pass by Falgu, you wouldn't know that is the Falgu river or Ramanand's there. It looks like a big bank, a dried river. Sandy soil is one of the signs, but the river is like little, trickling. When I went, I brought back some of the sand because of the Gaya land, the Gaya Sur discourse, and in our Bedi in the ashram, that dirt, that sandy dirt is there. So the person who gets to do puja the ashram inadvertently is doing it as if in Gaya and Falgu. Sita Mata is very upset. Sri Ram says to her, if you ask one more witness, I'm sure you'll get it. Sita Mata says, call the Vata Vriksh tree. And he asked this tree, did you see this? Did this happen? O Raghuveer, I shall be witness in case, I was a witness in this case, and I will give you the judgment if I just see you in that Lakshmi and Narayan form. If you allow me that blessing and you give me that, I will give you my answer. Sita Mata anxiously stands next to Sri Ram on the left hand side, and in this way the Yugala form of Ram and Sita, whether together as Vishnu and Lakshmi, is visible to this tree. The essence of this tree gains blessings because of the drishti. She says, oh Lord, I will pray at your feet, and you will always remove all my worries. You are called Chintamani. Your form is called the remover of worries. Dayamaya, you are compassion by your name. In case you provide salvation to the downtrodden, only your name will give it. Only your name. Remember, we started to talk about name in the beginning. Only your name will give the purification that movable and immovable creatures and things in this world require. May you always remain present for the upliftment of your children and this universe by and large. O Chintamani Roop Prabhu Sri Ram. Do you know, my dear friend, as he's addressing the tree, if that pinda was offered and if it was accepted by my father Dashrath? And in this way, Vatavrik says, oh dear one, listen. These people have given false evidence because of their ulterior motives. The Brahman spoke on truth because he was greedy for money. And at the insistence of the Brahman, the other two, following in his footsteps, because they wanted their own way, they also spoke on truth. In case I speak on truth, I cannot escape from you, Lord, you who dwell within me. How could I lie to you? Even those who perform great millions and millions of dhyana and tapasya cannot escape you and the truth. Pindas of sand were happily accepted by the soul of Raja Dashrath himself from Sita Mata, and by consuming that type of pinda, he left for the heavenly abode in the full view of all who were present. Hearing the words of Vata Vriksh is also known as Ficus indica, or another name for the banyan tree. For this reason, the banyan is a place where the Kurukshetra was documenting, the Kurukshetra war was documented, where people do, when you go and you see in big ashram and temples where this species of plant reside, this is why it is so holy. Sri Ram blessed that for long you will live and you will become immune to all forms of destruction. You will not be destroyed, you will not go extinct, you will remain upon this earth after Janam after Janam. Thus, Janki performed Pindadan of her father-in-law, and one by one produced all the witnesses. She then produced a boon on the Vata Vriksha, saying, "You shall be cool in the summer, warm in the winter. On every branch you shall have leaves, and never," hence it is called ficus, the evergreen. "You will always be pleasant to look at, and essentially cool to those that shelter under you. None of your branches shall ever remain without leaves. You will keep everybody cool, and any person that prays under you or around you will be blessed with the Ashibad or the Vardhan that they are looking for." This is why you see till today people go under the shade of this tree to do worship, as Devi has put this tree there for our benefit. You will always have the blessing of giving abundance through your leaves, your flowers, your dropping of these leaves and flowers on the person that is praying. Thus, with the blessings that the Vata Vriksha got, Sita took leave of the tree. All three, Ram, Lakshman, Sita, stayed in Chitrakoot for a long time. And it is for this reason that they sat down and she asked Sri Ram about Gaya. And Gaya Dam Mahatyam was chanted in the following verse, in the following chapter. Gaya, just as a nutshell, because we've discussed this, Gaya is that place where Lord Vishnu stands on the chest of Gaya Sur, where he got the Vardhan that if anybody came to look for him, just look for him and they will get, salvation. So to conquer him, Lord Vishnu asked him to lie down and allow people to come on the land where you are lying down, because he was a giant, to do puja. And when they do Shraddh, Tarpan, Pindadan in Gaya, no matter what sin they commit, they get salvation, mukti. And this was done in Gaya for Dashrath, and this continues till today, where Gaya people journey. They take trains and planes and different things from Varanasi to reach to Gaya, to go and do puja at the bank of the Palgu, to do prayer in different points at the Vishnu Pad, and they do prayer. Gaya is such a place that is very dear to the Buddhists as well as the Hindu. When you go there, you will see monks, you will see Buddhist monks in a way you've never seen. It is the place where Buddha gets enlightenment. So in one place you see Buddhist temple, in the next place you see Vishnu temple. Wonderfully, in this section, at the end of Ayodhya Khanda, in Krittibasi Ramayan, as we come to the end of our discourse, I really apologize for going over in time, but it was a lot. But I hope you have enjoyed this time we've spent in listening to discourses of Raja Dashrath. I hope that you have learned, I hope that I have tweaked your interest in your text. And going back to where we started, treasure your dharma. Hold and invite Sri Ram to live inside your mandir. Establish him, inaugurate him, and grow within him. When life brings hard moments and tough moments and different tragedies and calamities, don't be a stranger to him. He will bring the happiness, and you could wear it like a crown on your head again, like Bharat. You could find a way out of any predicament. If only you are associated, if you are only aware, if you are only known to him and he also is known to you. We need to be honest. We cannot try like others and fool ourselves and try to lie to God. Be like the Vata Vriksha tree and be honest and say, God, you live in me. I want to be honest. I want to be straightforward. I want to follow a righteous path. And don't forget one of my criticisms tonight about this song that we exposed in with Charanta, about you have to make a boy child first and then I go marry you. Please look at what they're listening to. all parents be responsible. We need to save our families from calamity. We need to save our families from falling. And this is where one way we could do it. Just listen to what they're listening to. Look at what they're looking at on television as well. God bless you and God bless you all. I apologize again to all for going over. I hope you enjoyed our satsang tonight. Let's put our hands together as we come to an end of our Yagya. Dear God, we thank you for this time spent in prayer, for these sessions. Dear God, may you stretch your hand and find a devotee wherever they may be and whatever they are plagued with, mental, spiritual, any type of problem, physical ailment, sickness, worries, depression, you name it, God, you know the story. Help them, please. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोलो उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, श्री आदि शक्ति माता की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Until our next installation of Ramayana Yagya, please be well and look out for us as we'll be on Facebook, YouTube and Sankhya Television. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel today. May God bless you and keep safe. Remember, we have to light our diyas on the 22nd. Please look out for more announcement. If you'd like to join the Ashram's group, we'll have you'll get the ad on the ad button. Click it on Facebook. Look out for the announcement of our clothes drive. As I said before, I'm collecting clothes articles. Please get in contact with me. If you have books, we are collecting books, as we wish to re-gift the families that are in need. I really appreciate the help, and God bless you on behalf of all members of the team for allowing us the support that we could do these good and Seva type activities. God bless you all, everybody. I really went over time. Sitaram. Bye-bye.